everyone, welcome to the ranking, and here's my ranking for Michael Mann's movies. Yes, Michael Mann is a really great filmmaker and a very good director, and I like most of his movies in his filmography. He's got some bad ones, but he's got a lot of great ones, and I'm excited to give my ranking of all his movies from my least favorite to my favorite. Alright, let's get started. Here's my ranking of Michael Mann's movies. Alright. Coming in number 11 is last year's Black Hat. Yes, this movie has Chris Hemsworth, and it's this weird dramatic crime, spy, thriller, espionage movie, and honestly, this is probably one of the worst movies of last year. It made my dishonorable mentions, and it's a complete waste of Chris Hemsworth, and it's just such a boring, dreary, bland movie, and I could not stand this movie. It's 2.5 hours long, and my god, it felt 2.5 hours. Coming in number 10 is the movie The Keep. Yes, The Keep. Do you guys remember this movie? Do you guys even care about this movie? Of course not. This movie is a piece of shit. It's atrocious. It's contrived. It's horribly executed. Nobody cares about this movie. And nobody even cares to remember what it is. So yeah, skip this movie if you haven't seen it yet. Don't waste your time. Coming in number 9 is the movie Miami Vice. Yes, Miami Vice has Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell and Naomi Harris, and I was never a huge Miami Vice fan. Yes, the TV show was a big popular TV show. I guess it was born too late to actually get really into it. It's an 80s show, I think, and yeah, I was never a fan of it. I never really watched a single episode, but I actually remember seeing this movie Miami Vice in theaters when it came out. What did it come out? 2005, 2006? And I really despised this movie. I could not stand it. I thought it was a horribly directed, horribly constructed film, and I didn't even think Colin Farrell was very good. The only person I actually didn't mind was Jamie Foxx, but yeah, after watching this movie a second time, I just watched this movie actually just a few weeks ago, and yeah, I stand by my original opinion of this movie. It's not a well-constructed film. It's very boring and bland. It's not even well shot. The score is pretty forgettable. The soundtrack's pretty forgettable. Jamie Foxx is the only one that's giving an okay performance. Colin Farrell is very bland in the movie. Naomi Harris isn't very good. The action isn't very good. The story isn't very interesting. And yeah, I wasn't a fan of this movie, Miami Vice. And I never watched the show, so I can't compare the two, but this movie, not good. Coming in number 8 is Ali. Yes, Ali stars Will Smith, and oh my god, I was so excited for this movie when it came out years and years ago. I saw this movie at a young age. I saw it when I was like 10 or 11, but I was very familiar with the boxer Muhammad Ali, and I saw this movie again when I was like 11 years old, and I actually enjoyed it, but now watching it more and more as I got older, the movie has issues. It has pacing issues, it has story issues, there's some pretty weak acting. Will Smith is very good as Muhammad Ali, but there are a lot of moments that just don't work in this movie. There's some directing issues, there's writing issues, there's some even editing issues, but all in all, the movie is fine. The boxing scenes are pretty cool. There are some characters that are very interesting, and I still think Will Smith plays a very good part, but it wasn't as good as when I first watched it. There are a lot of issues with the film, but all in all, it's fine. It's a decent boxing movie, but there are way better boxing movies out there. Rocky. Yeah. But yeah, Ali, still a good movie-ish. Coming in number 7 is the movie Public Enemies. Public Enemies is basically how I feel about Ali, is basically the same with Public Enemies. It's good-ish. There's moments in this movie. There's some pretty cool, intense action. There's cool bank robbing scenes. Johnny Depp is really good in the movie, but again, there's some pacing issues. I don't think Christian Bale is very good in the movie. Collateral is okay. Some characters don't work, some stories go absolutely nowhere, but every scene with Johnny Depp as John Dillinger is interesting. It's still fascinating. I wanted to know where his story was going to go and stuff, and I didn't know much about John Dillinger until I actually watched this movie, so I didn't know how the story was going to end, but then I did more research after I watched this movie, and it's pretty accurate with the John Dillinger story, and this movie is interesting. Just there are quite a few moments in this movie that aren't very interesting and aren't very well told. And again, I don't think Christian Bale was the right choice to play that role. I could see someone else playing it. Christian Bale wasn't right for the role, but I did like Marion Cotillard. The one scene Channing Tatum was in, he was in bad. And Johnny Depp really carried this entire movie as John Dillinger, and the movie is fine. It's watchable. That's probably the best way of putting it. It's a watchable movie. Coming number 6 is Manhunter. Yes, Manhunter. Before we had Silence of the Lambs, before we had Hannibal, before Red Dragon, we had Manhunter. This is the original Hannibal Lecter story. This is what Red Dragon remade its movie of. This is the original Red Dragon, and it's a good movie. I like it. It's good. I love Brian Cox in this movie. He is so freaking good as Hannibal Lecter. I love William Peterson in this movie, too. He's very good. The creepy killer is very unsettling, but I wasn't a big fan of the music and the score for this movie. There is good atmosphere. There is some pretty creepy and chilling moments in this movie. There's some scenes that will creep the ever-living shit out of you, and I love the dynamics between Hannibal Lecter and William Peterson's character. Just all in all, I thought Red Dragon just did it better. Yes, I might be in a minority with that. I just think Red Dragon just did it better. I think this movie is good. I like Manhunter, but again, I like Red Dragon just a little bit more. I think I cared more about the characters and Red Dragon and stuff, but again, some people will strongly disagree with me on that, but that's just my opinion. I like this movie. I just liked Red Dragon a little bit more. Coming number 5 is the movie Thief. Yes, James Caan in the movie Thief. This is one of the early movies of Michael Mann and stuff, and damn, this is a good movie. It's a good story. It's a good crime story. You got John Belushi in this movie, and this movie is intense. It's thrilling. If you love a good crime story, then definitely check Thief out. It's got an awesome, thrilling third act. It's got a great score. It's got great editing. Pretty good shots in the movie too. I was invested with the lead character played by James Caan. James Caan is fantastic in this movie, and it's just a great crime story. Michael Mann directs awesome crime movies, and this is definitely one of his best ones. I actually put this movie lower on the list, but again, Michael Mann's great movies are really, really great. And this is a great movie, just these other ones are just a little bit better. Coming number 4 is Collateral. Yes, Collateral. Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx, and this movie is fantastic. I love the story about a hitman who goes inside a taxi cab and basically asks the driver to drive him to 5 locations where he can do 5 hits. But the cab driver, played by Jamie Foxx, doesn't know what he's doing, and then when he gets to know what he's doing, he's basically trapped with this hitman who is also a killer and stuff, and basically he doesn't know if he's going to kill him in the end, and then he finds out his last target is a girl that he really cares for and stuff. And yeah, this movie also co-stars Mark Ruffalo and Jada Pinkett Smith. Both are great in this movie, and this movie is fantastic. I love this movie. Again, like Thief, I wanted to put it lower on the list, but again, Michael Mann has such great movies, and this movie is so freaking well done. Jamie Foxx was so good. He totally deserved his Oscar nomination. I actually would have loved to see him win for this movie, but oh well. Tom Cruise as Vincent is so freaking good in this movie. I love his style, I love his suit, I love his hair. He's so great. He's a very funny character, and he's also very intimidating. Like, he scares me in some scenes. Like, my God. Actually, the scene with the jazz musician, oh, that scene is so fucking intense, and I love it. I love the use of the handheld camera in this movie, too. Some people call it shaky cam, but it actually isn't. It's shaky cam. It's handheld cam, and it's done so freaking well. Michael Mann's direction in this movie is fantastic. It's a great action thriller, and I freaking love it. I find it sometimes underrated. I don't think a lot of people have seen this movie. If you still haven't seen Collateral yet, please check it out. It's fantastic. Coming number 3 is the movie The Insider. Yes, Insider stars Russell Crowe and Al Pacino, both of which give Oscar-worthy performances. Russell Crowe was nominated for this movie, but he won the Academy Award a year after, playing Maximus Decius Meridius from Gladiator, obviously, but Russell Crowe is fantastic in this movie. So is Al Pacino. It's a great business movie. It's also a great dramatic film, a great character study. This is all about the tobacco industry and stuff, and this movie is very, very realistic, and it does have genuine tension in the film, and I love this movie. Again, not a lot of people have seen this movie. If you haven't seen The Insider yet, please check it out. It's brilliant. Coming number 2 is Heat. Yes, Heat. Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Al Pacino, Natalie Portman, Ashley Judd. This movie's fantastic. This goes down as one of the greatest bank robbing movies of all time, and I absolutely believe it. This movie is fantastic. Mostly when people say what is their favorite Michael Mann movie, everybody says Heat. And I wanted to say Heat is my number one, but I think my number one, which you all know what it is, but I just think by a little bit my number one is better than Heat. Heat still is a fantastic movie. It's the first movie to actually have De Niro and Pacino in a scene together. Come on, the diner scene, amazing scene. And some of the bank robbing scenes are some of the greatest bank robbing scenes you'll ever see in a movie. That shootout scene on the highway is a fantastic scene. Entire third act is so freaking intense. The showdown between Al Pacino and Robert De Niro is fantastic, so well done. Val Kilmer is also really great in this movie. Natalie Portman's very young and she gives a very good performance. Her story is actually very sad stuff, and I love Al Pacino. I love his character in this movie. I love De Niro's character. I was actually rooting for Robert De Niro in this movie because he's just such a sort of a charismatic villain, and I loved his character. He's such an interesting and layered character, and yeah, I was kind of rooting for the villain in this movie, but Al Pacino was still fantastic. I did enjoy his character, and I love this cat and mouse game and the face-off between these two characters, and yeah, that diner scene, amazing. Come on, Pacino and De Niro in a movie together, it's so good. It's a bank robbing movie, and it's Heat. Everyone knows Heat's amazing, and it's my second favorite Michael Mann movie. And my number one favorite Michael Mann movie is The Last of the Mohegans. Yes, in the early 90s, The Last of the Mohegans came out, and I freaking love this movie. Daniel Day-Lewis is fantastic. I know it's a remake of an old classic movie, which is okay. I think this version is fantastic. The action's great. The production's great. It's an amazing period piece film, and the score in this movie is single-handedly one of the greatest scores of all time. As you saw in my top 10 favorite movie scores, it's a tie for my favorite score. It's right there with Star Wars and Psycho as some of the greatest scores of all time, and I love this movie. I freaking love it. I love the story. I love the writing. I love how Michael Mann directed this movie. I loved these characters. I got invested with these characters. I love the Mohegans. They're such awesome characters, and they're so badass. And I loved it. I got invested with the story. I got invested with the characters. And it's just so watchable to me. Out of all of Michael Mann's movies, I've seen this movie the most. I have to put this on at least once every couple months and watch it and get invested and thrilled with this movie, and I freaking love it. This is definitely a personal opinion. I know a lot of people love Last of the Mohegans, but everyone says Heat is their favorite Michael Mann movie, and I totally get it, but for me, my number one favorite Michael Mann movie is Last of the Mohegans. It's my favorite. So yeah, that's my ranking of all of Michael Mann's movies from my least favorite to my favorite. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this list? If not, give me your rankings of all of Michael Mann's movies from your least favorite to favorite. Comment below and let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel, join the dark side.